Hi everybody, welcome back to the Chef Complay in downtown Burlington. My name is Chef Mike Benninger, owner-operator of Time Management Personal Chef Services located here in Burlington, and the owner of chefmike.ca as well. Today, one of my personal favorites, risotto. Gotta love risotto. Simple to make, time-consuming, but really, really simple to make. What I've got here is a little bit of butter, and remember, this is going to feed 4 people, so just a little bit of butter, a couple cloves of garlic. Now I'm going to put in 1 finely chopped shallot. You can buy these anywhere. When I do dishes, one of the things I like to do is to always make dishes with ingredients you can buy anywhere. And I don't want to use expensive ingredients. I want to use normal ingredients that anybody can get. And risotto is one of those restaurant-y things that people have tried for years to make complicated. And it really isn't complicated. Here's what's in risotto. Parmesan cheese, butter, the shallots that I put in there, some arborio rice. Now, arborio rice, you'll notice, you can zoom in that one kernel right there. See how short and round it is? It's kind of oval shaped. That's a different type of rice than long grain rice, which is what you get with Chinese food. This has a much higher starch content. And what we're going to do here by making risotto is we're going to use stock to actually cause the starch to come out and create our sauce for us. Unlike in Chinese food where you actually want the starch to go away. Here's our rice. I've got my butter, I've got my garlic, I've got my shallots. In goes my arborio rice. Now what I'm doing here now is I'm doing something called toasting. By toasting, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to cook the kernels a little bit. They're going to soak up some of the fat, which is the melted butter, and they're going to give off some of their starch. So when I add my chicken stock over here, which I've got some rosemary in, I'm going to put that in there. That's going to replace the starch, cause the starch to come out into solution. We have a nice, creamy, rich sauce. Now this takes just a few minutes to do. The actual ingredients itself, the recipe itself from start to finish is about 3 minutes of work, 15 minutes of adding stock, and 3 minutes of work. Today, you're only going to see the first 3 minutes and the last 3 minutes because watching me add stock is probably a little bit boring. So what's going to happen here, we're going to let this go until this rice kernels toast. And again, you can see now, if you look at my spatula, you see how you've got a little white core and a translucent area around it? That translucence is the fat being soaked up by the kernels. So now when I add stock, the creamy sauce is going to get created, and that's going to create our risotto base. Now what I've got here is some low sodium chicken stock. If you want to use homemade, feel free. I use the box stuff because it's actually quite good, but please buy the low sodium. Now watch when I add this. I added 1 ladle, and almost instantly, you see the sauce start to get creamy. That actually is the start of the risotto, giving off its starch, replacing that same area with the chicken stock. And now for the next 15 minutes or so, what it's going to be is add 1 ladle of stock, put it in there, give it a shake till it coats through, and continue. Don't add the ladle of stock until the previous one's already soaked up. You'll notice this one here is soaked up almost immediately. Each stock ladle will take a little bit longer than the one before. Now unfortunately, this takes about the next 12 or 15 minutes. I'm not going to bore you guys with that. You've seen me add this before. This one I made about an hour and a half ago. And one of the reasons I like this is you can actually stop it 2/3 of the way through. See how it's giving off all the stock? And it's got that lovely, rich, creamy sauce to it? You need a little bit more stock, and then I'm going to finish it off. So what I had 3 minutes before of the first pot, 15 minutes of adding stock, and then 3 minutes more now to finish. But you can do this. It doesn't take a lot of work. The kids are great to help with this. Just make sure you add the ladle of stock after the one you have is absorbed. Now to finish, I'm going to add some red pepper for color. If you want to add frozen peas, feel free. If you want to add fried portobello mushrooms, that'll work too. I'm also going to add about, 4 or 5 tablespoons of good Parmigiano Reggiano cheese. Please, ladies and gentlemen, buy the good Parmigiano Reggiano. It's not that expensive. It's 40 bucks a kilo, but you just have a little. That's maybe 35 or 40 cents worth. It tastes so much better. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to toss this through. You'll notice what's happening is that the stock is absorbing the cheese. It's melting the cheese itself. It's creating this lovely, rich, fragrant sauce. In restaurants, how they finish this is obviously with cheese, but they put in a nub of butter as well. Now, I'm not going to add butter because mine is creamy enough as it is. That's actually done. I would use this as a side for something like rack of lamb. It's very good for that. I would use this in some menus actually as a course by itself. Now, I like to finish this off with some green onion because I like the flavor. I like the crunch. This is very, very soft and kind of gooey. I like the green onion for a little bit of crunch. Again, if you want to add any flavor that you like. If you want to make it more upscale by adding, say, very expensive risotto mushrooms like oyster or lobster mushrooms, feel free to do that. If you want to make this really nice by adding truffle, you can do that as well. If you want it as a side dish, it works great as a side dish. If you want it as its own course, that's what I often do in French restaurants, is they actually have it as their own course. Now, this is very rich. This is butter and cream. This is only good about an 8-ounce portion, or maybe even a 7-ounce portion, is lots. That is lots for its own course. It's rich, it's fragrant, you can make a lot of it in advance. It's not that hard to do, and it's a lot of fun. I always finish off with a little bit of Parmesan cheese because, well, everything's better with Parmesan cheese, to be perfectly honest. On top of that, and maybe a little bit of butter as well, just there. And that's it, ladies and gentlemen. It's simple to make. It's flavorful. It tastes really, really good. It's good with almost any meat you have. It's a very European flavor. You can dress it up the way you want. You can buy the rice anywhere. It's a really, really fun thing to make. A little bit of work, 3 minutes, 15 and 3, but practice. It costs you a couple of bucks a batch to practice. You'll learn how. Once you learn how to make this, you'll never, ever stop making it. My name is Chef Mike Benninger, your host today here at the Chef Complet in Burlington, and the owner of chefmike.ca. It's been my great pleasure to be here. Have a wonderful afternoon. I look forward to seeing you again.